Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great week. My name is Drew, the host of Never Behind. So I'm pretty sure that if you have been paying attention to the market, you should have heard or checked that Bitcoin went up 100% in 2023, and that this sudden uptrend mostly happened a couple of weeks ago with the news coming out of the possibility of a Bitcoin ETF being approved. In my previous videos, I also shared my thoughts on the possibility of Bitcoin going up more than 6 digits per coin once the Bitcoin halving event occurs in 2024, since Bitcoin always goes higher than the previous all-time high, which was 65,000 per coin, within 15 to 18 months once the Bitcoin halving occurs. Now, will this Bitcoin pattern happen again? I think we'll have to see. However, through my interview with Michael Vogel, the founder of Netcoin, a crypto exchange in Canada that was built before Coinbase, and also the founder of CoinStream, which is a virtual version of a Bitcoin ATM, we have discussed a number of insights on Bitcoin that were fairly positive and very exciting for the future of crypto. Now, if you are interested in investing in the crypto space, I highly recommend that you check out the interview with Michael before investing in Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. Now, I always think it is very important to hear both sides, especially when it comes to investing. Now, although there are a number of crypto bulls in the market waiting for Bitcoin halving to occur and for the approval of Bitcoin ETFs, two of the legendary investors, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, are known to call Bitcoin rat poison or even turds, saying that people who are buying Bitcoin are just people holding turds waiting for someone else to come by and say that they will buy it at a higher price, and also says that Bitcoin does not have any intrinsic value and therefore at the end will have to go to zero. Now, no one knows how Bitcoin will end up, whether it will go more than 6 to 7 digits per coin or eventually go to zero, but I thought it would be very helpful to share both Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger's thought and rationales on Bitcoin so that we could hear both sides on cryptocurrencies before making any decisions on investing in Bitcoin. So with that, let's hear what Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger has to say. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and click the like button, and would love to hear if any of you may be planning to invest in crypto, and if so, what coins you may be interested in the comment below. Now, before getting into Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger's insights, I wanted to share that Moomoo is having a great promotion, giving out 15 free stocks, which I think no one should miss. If you open an account and deposit $100, you get 5 free stocks, and just by depositing $1,000 and keeping it for 60 days in your account, you get a total of 15 free stocks. So if you would like to receive 15 free stocks, make sure you click the link in the description below. Also, Seeking Alpha is having a great promotion, providing the premium service that was $239 a year to $189. So if you are interested in Seeking Alpha, please check the link in the description below, and also check out the interview that I had with the founder of the Quant system in Seeking Alpha and see how he uses Seeking Alpha step by step to find the best stocks in the AI sector. And finally, I have started a Discord where we have a number of well-experienced and great investors sharing their insights, news, stocks of interest, option trades, and chart analysis every day, helping each other to make money in the market. Our Discord is 100% free, so if you may be interested in joining our community, please click the link that says Discord in the description below so that we can make it through this market together.
At one point this weekend, you said that Bitcoin, and this was based, you were asked, Charlie said Bitcoin's like rat poison. You were asked about that comment, and you said, well, it's probably more like rat poison squared. Charlie went on in the meeting to then basically call Bitcoin turds.
He is an expressive sort, isn't he? Maybe when he gets a little older, he'll mature.
I just want to ask you about that because it sparks so much controversy, and particularly on Twitter and some of the places where you might expect people who are trading in cryptocurrency to be pretty loud about what they heard. What is it about Bitcoin that gets you guys so fired up?
Well, when you buy a farm, you look at the crop every year and what prices are, and you decide whether it was a satisfactory investment. I mean, you look to the asset itself and what it produces for you. When we buy a business, we look at what the business earns and decide how we feel about it in terms of what we paid. But we are buying something that at the end of the period, we not only have what we bought in the first place, but we have something that the asset produced. And when you buy non-productive assets, all you're counting on is whether the next person is going to pay you more because they're even more excited about another next person coming along. But the asset itself is creating nothing. One of the interesting things, for example, is gold. If you go back to the time of Christ and you look at how many hours of labor you had to give up in order to buy an ounce of gold, and you take it forward to now, you'll find the compound rate maybe 1/10 or 2/10 of 1%. And then you have to insure it during that time and make sure somebody doesn't steal it from you and everything. But it doesn't produce anything. And productive assets, you can pay too much for a productive asset, but I bought a farm in the 1980s, and every year how much it produced the way of soybeans and corn. And at the end of that period, I've still got the farm, and I've gotten some significant income off of it. If you and I buy various cryptocurrencies, they're not going to multiply. They're not going to be a bunch of rabbits sitting there in front of us. They're just going to sit there. And I got to hope next time you get more excited after I bought it from you, and then maybe I'll get more excited and buy it from you. And actually, we could sit in the house by ourselves, and we could keep running up the price between the two of us. But at the end of the time, there's one Bitcoin sitting there. And now we got to find somebody else. And they come to an end. I mean, those.
That's a greater fool theory. That's what you're saying.
Well, yeah, it's buying something because you expect the pool of people who want to buy it because they want to sell it to somebody else will grow, and it's wonderful because it does create a rising price. Does create more buyers, and people think I've got to get in on this, and it's better if they don't understand it. That's the other thing about non-predictable. If you don't understand it, you get much more excited than if you understand it. I mean, if you buy a bond that says it's going to pay you 4% a year, you're not going to get any pleasant surprises. She's going to pay you 4% a year. But if you can have anything you want to imagine, if you just look at something and say that's magic, you can do it with shark's teeth or seashells or anything. And they did it with tulips in 17th century in Amsterdam, and they'll do it again. I mean, people, they like to speculate. They like to gamble. And if you can get something, particularly if you have something half plausible going on, if you had bought gold in 1942 and you say, we might lose the war and we might have to run off to some other country, and so let's put our assets in gold, you would have less than a penny for every dollar you got from owning stocks. Less than a penny. Now, if somebody calls that a store of value, I mean, I think they're delusionary.
Hey, Warren, related to this issue of Bitcoin, you saw that Goldman Sachs just last week announced that they were going to create effectively a trading operation around cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular. You've been an investor in Goldman. What do you think of their decision to do that?
Well, they probably think that lots of people are going to get very excited about it. Well, and maybe already are, but they think there's money to be made trading them. I don't think they're expressing an opinion on the ultimate value. I would be very surprised if the top partners of Goldman are selling their Goldman stock and putting it into Bitcoin. I want to cover this subject now because if people think they're going to make money the next day, if they think somebody else that they know is going to make money and they aren't going to make money, it just draws people in. I could whisper something on this program, and kind of the more sillier it was, the more it might react, because there's no quantitative limits. If you buy a stock, you say, well, I'll buy it at 15 times earnings, but I won't buy it at 20 times earnings. But when you get into something that doesn't produce anything, there's no checkpoints. There's nothing to reference it to. It's gone up, so it'll keep going.
Now, I will say about crypto that Benjamin writes in. He says, in 2007 at the USC Law School, Charlie said, I'm not entitled to have an opinion on this subject unless I can state the arguments against my position better than the people who are supporting it. The question is, does this also apply to your Wall Street Journal article on banning cryptocurrencies? And if yes, would you care to share the arguments against your position?
Well, I don't think there are good arguments against my position. I think the people that oppose my position are idiots. And so I don't think there is a rational argument against my position. This is an incredible thing. Naturally, people like to run gambling casinos where other people lose. And the people who invented this crypto crapo, which is my name for it, sometimes I call it crypto crapo and sometimes I call it crypto shit. It's just ridiculous that anybody would buy this stuff. You can think of hardly nothing on earth that has done more good to the human race, national currency. They were absolutely required to turn man from a goddamn successful ape into modern successful humans in human civilization. It enabled all these convenient exchanges. So if somebody says, I'm going to create something that sort of replaces the national currency, it's like saying I'm going to replace the national air. It isn't even slightly stupid, it's massively stupid. And of course it's very dangerous, and of course the governments were totally wrong to permit it. And of course I'm not proud of my country for allowing this crap, what I call the crypto shit. It's worthless, it's no good, it's crazy, it'll do nothing but harm, it's antisocial to allow it. Well, and there is no good argument on the other side. I can't supply it.
So does that counter what you said back at USC? That you shouldn't have a position unless you can counter?
No, it doesn't counter. I do think you ought to be able to state a lot of issues. How big should the social safety net be? That's a place where reasonable minds can disagree. And you should be able to state the case on the other side about as well as the case you believe in. But when you're dealing with something as awful as crypto shit, it's just unspeakable. It's an absolute horror, and I'm ashamed of my country that so many people believe in this kind of crap, and that the government allows it to exist. It is totally, absolutely crazy, stupid gambling with enormous house odds for the people on the other side, and they cheat in addition to cheating in the betting. It's just crazy. So that is something. There's only one correct answer for intelligent people. There is just totally avoid it, and avoid all the people that are promoting it.
Now, as we just heard from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, they are on the side that Bitcoin will never replace the national currency, which is the dollar at this point, and that since Bitcoin does not provide anything and does not grow like a business, it has no value and is all about hype and expectation of the price of Bitcoin going up and people FOMOing in before it goes even higher. Warren Buffett also brought up a great point that people who don't know that much about an asset can get more excited since they would analyze an asset based on their imagination and expectation that will be limitless and very exciting and makes them FOMO into Bitcoin. Now, will Bitcoin go to zero as Warren Buffett is saying? I'm not sure about that. But I think Michael Vogel had a great point in his previous interview where he mentioned that he does not see Bitcoin replacing dollars or gold, but sees that Bitcoin has a unique function of transferring money globally with a very low fee and within seconds, if not minutes, 24/7. And that is one of the major reasons why JP Morgan and companies like PayPal are launching their own stable coins. Personally, I do agree with Michael on this role for Bitcoin regarding transferring money globally with low fees and within seconds. And I do think it can be used in the general population in the near future. But again, after hearing from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger on how much they think Bitcoin is a scam, we will have to wait and see how Bitcoin works out. So with that, I hope this video was helpful for those that were interested in investing in cryptocurrency.